Imagine yourself as someone who runs a store. It could be any store, a grocery store, electronic store, whatever store pleases you. Just imagine that you're the boss of it. Now, operating in the store takes a lot of responsibility, and you have to make sure that everything's in place at all times, or else the system would fail and the store would not prevail. Now, that's exactly what a relationship is. A relationship is like a store. Without all these key components and little things, it wouldn't be much of a working store. For example, imagine that you're running a Cold Stone or Baskin Robbins, places that spell ice cream, and today specifically was ice cream day. You, the boss, earlier this week forgot to send out a schedule to a specific someone. Now, you forgot about it, thought it was nothing because you forgot today was ice cream day. Now that today is ice cream day, the coworker isn't here and everything is out of place. Customers are waiting in line, everybody is hectic. Now this could have all been avoided if something simple was applied. Communication. Now, if you had communicated to your co-worker that, hey, I'm sorry that I forgot to send out the schedule, or you actually remembered to send out the schedule, we wouldn't be in the position that we are in today. This is extremely to how a relationship works, because it's the little things that always matter. The little thing that you forgot to send out a schedule to your coworker to come in on a day that you didn't think was even a big deal became a big deal. That, my friend, is what we call the little things. Little things like communicating with your coworker or your partner that you're going to be busy today or you're not going to be able to show up somewhere is something that will make such a big difference in a relationship, and people fail to realize that. This is what my podcast is going to be awareness of. The little things that can help or ruin a relationship. The lack of communication or the lack of trust can really ruin a relationship. But having a plethora of communication, a plethora of trust, not having too much insecurities, not rushing things, and having a very good support system is going to help your relationship like you've never seen before. And I, your host, Stefano Saintil, will be bringing it all to you in the near future. Stay tuned. Welcome back to another segment of The Little Things Matter. I'm joined today by Elizabeth Tisdale, and we're going to be talking about one of the little things that matter most in a relationship, which has affected many relationships in the past, including hers, which is insecurity. Now, Alyssa, if you can take the time to just explain to my viewers, what is your definition of being insecure?
Probably not being confident in yourself or not taking pride in your appearance or loving yourself the way that you should.
And has insecurities affected past relationships of yours in any way or shape or form?
One in particular, probably my freshman year relationship of high school.
How did that go about?
Well, he didn't love himself at all, and telling him that I loved him or telling him that he should love himself wasn't doing any justice. I think you should love yourself before coming into a relationship, because it starts more problems along the way.
So you think you shouldn't have any insecurities going into a relationship?
I think everybody does have insecurities. I have insecurities, but I think that takes time. It takes time to love yourself, like growth. But I also know, being a freshman in high school, you're naive. You don't know yourself the way that you should because you're growing. Mm-hmm. So that definitely caused a lot more problems in that year and a half that we were together than it would now.
And it was a really big problem because of that, right? Did the insecure play a big role in you guys breaking up or the relationship not working out in any shape or form?
I'd say whenever we had a problem, whatever problem it was always, do you still want to be with me? Do you still think that I'm the person you should be with physically, mentally?
Oh, okay. So basically, what is that? It's like reassurance, basically, that he needed.
Right.
Oh, okay. But I think reassurance is a good thing in a relationship. But it's just that when it gets to a point where it's too much, it just comes off as insecure as hell.
Yeah, I think that at some point in time, reassurance is always okay, but I don't think reassurance should be something that you need every day or every other day or even every other week. Telling you, it kind of seems as if it's going through one ear and out the other, and it shouldn't be like that. And it's something that you would know if you weren't as insecure as you are, if that makes any sense.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So basically, insecurities is play. It's like many people don't think of it as like a big step in a relationship. What you call it? It's like it doesn't affect people as much, from what I've heard. But like, it's just a little thing that really matters in a relationship because it can build up over time and affect the relationship. At the end of the day.
I mean, for me, if I don't like a certain part of my body or I don't like something on my face, it could be something that I harp on for a while, but it's not something that I'm gonna constantly bring up with my partner. It's something that you can or will get over as an individual. It's not something that your partner could help you get over.
Oh, okay. All right, that's good. And that's just so like insecurities comes in different shapes and forms, guys, and I want you guys to remember that. It's just that learning how to deal with it in a healthy manner is going to help your relationship a lot. Not just always assuming that your significant other is doing something shady behind your back or etc. It's confronting that problem, whether it be with your partner or without your partner. Thank you for tuning in to Little Things Matter, and I'll see you guys next week. Whether you're in a week-long or 30-year or a year-long relationship, there are many things that come within that relationship that is a must that many people don't realize. And one of those things is communication. Now, when you think of communication, you think of giving information or receiving information. Well, this is a very pivotal point in a relationship. I believe that relationships always need some type of communication, or you're going out with your friends and colleagues. I think that communicating with your significant other that you're going to be doing these type of activities will help strengthen your relationship. Now, let me give you two situations as where communication is going to really help your relationship, and the other one where it might really hurt your relationship. Imagine tonight that your friends invited you out to go grab some food, go walk alongside the beach, and they just called you out of nowhere, and you was just like, okay, cool, let's go. Now, when you said that, you abruptly just left the house and you didn't tell your significant other anything. You just left and just went to go hang out with your friends. Now, when you come back to the house, your significant other is very mad and perplexed because, hey, you've been gone for how many hours and I've yet to get a text or even a mention of you going out at this time of night, and I was worried sick. Now, this could have been all avoided if you would have text your significant other and say, hey, I'm going out with my friends. Don't worry about it. We're just going to this and that location. This could have been all avoided. Now that you have to argue with them and possibly putting your relationship in jeopardy because you couldn't do something simple as communicate up to where you were going. Communication helps a lot in a relationship. It helps build trust. It helps give your significant other and you some stability and security that, okay, they aren't going to do anything behind my back. And little things like, hey, telling your partner, hey, I'm doing this, or hey, I don't feel like I want to do this tonight, or I don't like the way you've been treating me. Something as simple as that can help your relationship go the extra mile. Communicating with your partner what makes you uncomfortable and comfortable, and communicating with your partner where you're going or where you're not going is going to help your relationship so much, because it's a little thing like that that can always help your relationship go the extra mile or even out of this world. Welcome back to the Little Things Matter, where in this podcast where we talk about little things in a relationship that might make or break your relationship. And today we're going to be talking about a little thing called trust. Today I'm here joined by Chris James. We're each going to talk about how trust in a relationship is a very big factor and people fail to realize that. So Chris, how has some
in your relationship, like trust affected some of your relationship in the past?
I'm not gonna lie, I have been cheated on and cheated before, and that really is a big thing. That really does have a big deal with trust, because the first time that I ever got cheated on, it really did affect my trust in other people for a while. Like I really didn't want to get into a relationship after that.
So do you feel like trust can be like a very like it can affect like you think it affect throughout a relationship if it's like compromised once? For example, if you were cheated on, like you said that you were, it's like it can, how can I say this? It can affect many relationships down the line that you didn't intentionally mean it to. And what are like some ways that you think like, because then again, having trust is a really big thing in a relationship. I feel like it's a really big step, but many people don't realize that they just jump head first. Now, when it comes to trust, a lot of things need to happen. And say if you did get your trust compromised from another relationship, how do you think like going on, how hard it is to regain that trust in yourself or in that relationship?
For me, it's like you gotta kind of like prove yourself. For me, what kind of did it was I had a girlfriend who was put in the exact same position as the girl who cheated on me, and she didn't do anything. She proved to me that, hey, I'm here for you.
Okay, so you think like proving your worth is like a good way to like bring trust into the relationship? Okay, yeah, it's just like a lot of people fail to realize. It's like people think that trust isn't a big thing, which is like, for example, you got cheated on. That is a very big scenario that people don't realize and how it can affect, because say you get cheated on, now you're looking at your next relationship or your next partner like, okay, now I have to look out for certain things, and then that builds lack of trust and insecurities, which is a very big thing. Trust and insecurities go hand in hand with each other. And I've had my own fair share of insecurities, but over time, as I've found somebody who trust, like you said, like find somebody that you trust, which is a really good thing. And people fail to realize that you can't just trust somebody again like it's nothing. Because just like in your situation, you had to find somebody who was in the same situation as you, and you had to make sure that they can prove to themselves or to yourself that they can really like affect you in a really good way. So thank you for joining me. And guys, I'll see you guys on the next episode of The Little Things Matter.
Hello guys, welcome back to The Little Things Matter. I'm your host Stefano, and today I am joined by Horacia. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Horacia Summers. I am the business manager here at Radio X, and I also host my own segment called Pillow Talk, where I discuss, relationships and that kind of thing as well.
No problem. And as based off of what you've told me, you're in a 2-year relationship as of now?
Yes, I met my boyfriend on Tinder of all places, and it's honestly been my longest relationship and, in my opinion, my best relationship that I've been in so far.
Very good. Now, when on this podcast, we talk about little things matter in a relationship, because I feel like as little things can go so far as to save a relationship, it can make or break your relationship. Now, one of the things that I realize are little things to me, or in general, based off of the people that I've talked to, is attention to detail. Now, when I talk about attention to detail, it can be something as simple as like, okay, I don't like nobody touching around like the front area of my neck, and then you deliberately do it in the back. Has that happened in your relationship, or is that a big thing for you?
Personally, it's a big thing for me. I find it to be very important just because, for one, it's very respectful, and it's also just important to kind of have that understanding of what your partner likes, doesn't like, little attention to detail of things like maybe throughout their day, their schedule, or even understanding things about like, their family and that kind of thing, just because it shows that you do care enough to keep those things in the back of your mind for future instances. It can also be great when thinking about getting gifts for them, instead of going with like cliche gifts and that kind of thing, getting something that although might not be very big or something that you'd expect to get somebody, but something that is very important to them. Specifically, one thing that comes to mind is if you've ever seen the show Sex Education, it has a scene where a guy got a girl a gift. It was literally just a regular, you know, calendar book and everything, but
Right.
he knows that she hates birthdays. So he literally ripped out every single part in the year which her birthday comes up, and she absolutely loved the gift. And it's like those like little things that mean 10 times more than, you know, getting like, you know, roses, bears, and that kind of thing as well.
Okay, that's good. Has there ever been an instance in your relationship where like it shocked you, like the attention to detail that he gave to you?
I can't think of a specific example right now, but I do know that there's been instances like for me and that kind of thing where I know that he's like a huge Ravens fan and that kind of thing, but yet he has no pair of like no merch or anything for the Ravens and that kind of thing. So I got him his first ever jersey that he's ever like had and that kind of thing, which was for the Ravens, and he really appreciated it because like he like wouldn't have expected to like go and buy one himself or anything like that, and he's not a big like sports person. And coincidentally, he did end up going to the Dolphins game and that kind of thing where they were playing and that kind of stuff. So like, you know, it was great because he like, you know, got to, you know, represent and go and that kind of thing, and he also had something to like wear with him, and now he has a sports jersey.
Yeah, that's good. That's a really good, and that really, in my opinion, that like kind of elevated your relationship to a certain level, and that's one of the little things that really matter. Attention to detail is a very big thing that people tend to look over, but it can really make or break your relationship because your partner, whether they say they're not gift dependent or not, or attention to detail or not, they do pay attention. They just want you to take the initiative. Thank you for tuning in to my podcast, The Little Things Matter.